Thus far, he has escaped all punishment. No suspensions, no disciplinary action of any kind. He might even get away with it. The perp's name is Patrick McMorris. He's a senior safety for San Diego State, majoring in, of all things, criminal justice. What he did Saturday against Arizona, by current standards, remains scandalous, a brazen act of human compassion in broad daylight. As too briefly seen on CBS, McMorris, after helping tackle wide receiver Jacob Cowing, shamelessly extended an arm to lift Cowing to his feet in flagrant disregard of the latter-day Street Cred Code. Even with officials right there, no flag was thrown. Such antiquated sportsmanship was ignored by CBS, which renewed TV's empty-headed habit of presenting replays, often in slow motion, of players in demonstrations of self-aggrandizement, regardless of the score. To that end, emphasis on end, the next day LSU star defensive lineman Maason Smith became the latest in a series of the needlessly disabled. He was lost for the season, tearing his ACL jumping to celebrate a tackle against Florida State. But the entire week seemed to sprint backward. At the close of another week of racing to the rear, McMorris represented the vastly underrepresented. San Diego State's Patrick McMorris, left, showed how sportsmanship works, helping up an opposing Arizona player during their game last week. Here in New York, populated by those once flattered as the world's most sophisticated sports fans and media, 40-year-old reprobate Serena Williams, the most maladjusted, graceless, petulant, self-entitled and vulgar recalcitrant in the history of women's tennis, was ordained by media and assembled tennis fans as both the most peerless player and noble woman. That piles of hard evidence existed to the indisputable contrary of the latter not only was ignored by ESPN's expert, seasoned commentators, they supported their blind flatteries and gushing with broad, unsupported testimonies to her across-the-board virtue. And if the media were nauseating, so too were the legions in attendance whose sense of tennis was to unashamedly cheer when her three opponents committed errors, including double faults. What did they tell the young and impressionable in their lives upon arriving home? We tried to make things as miserable and impossible for Serena's opponent. We acted like obnoxious 12-year-olds. What did we know about her opponents? Did they ever threaten a linesman with, "I swear to God, it'll take this F, king ball and shove it down your F, king throat"? She's the best thing to ever happen to women's tennis. Serena Williams waves goodbye to the crowd after her round 3 U.S. Open loss. What happened to the sports in our sports? Why has it now infected women's sports? In July, attention-starved, vulgar show-off and bully, U.S. soccer team captain Megan Rapinoe, who chose World Cup stages to be demonstrably anti-American, was awarded the nation's highest civilian honor, the Medal of Freedom, by President Biden. Williams stayed true to her rotten winner, worst loser career character to the end, offering a quick, insincere handshake to winner, Ajla Tomljanovic, who displayed extraordinary grace, determination, patience, and talent though vilified by the uncivil, unappreciative, hostile horde throughout the match. During the post-match on-court interview with Williams, Tomljanovic stood by modestly and reverently as Williams thanked her entourage but, as per her true career-long character as opposed to the media-fabricated lie, offered only a faint half-sentence acknowledgement of the winner. Williams' 3 matches last week made for the ugliest hours in the history of U.S. Open women's tennis. That her matches were played in Arthur Ashe Stadium, named for a champion, sportsman, and gentleman, didn't mean a damn thing. Tuesday, while smashing rackets and screaming vulgarities, tennis star Nick Kyrgios lost in Arthur Ashe Stadium. And so San Diego State's Patrick McMorris, for helping an opponent to his feet, as seen on national TV, has thus far escaped infamy. Michael K. catches as Ken Singleton throws out the first pitch of the game on October 3, 2021 in what was Singleton's final game behind the mic for the Yes Network. NY Post, Charles Wenzelberg OK for K to call out players, but Boone needs criticism too. Perhaps Yankee Josh Donaldson figured he was off on Labor Day. That he didn't at first run hard to first base before being easily thrown out at second on a ball off the wall Monday inspired in him inexplicable smiles, but didn't cut any ice among the Yes video crew nor Michael K. In a show and tell, Donaldson was exposed as the latest Yankee who wound up a base short of where he belonged. K's improved good faith presence lies in the fact that he no longer pretends that viewers are too dull to see, thus know better. Where he ignored the lethargy of Yankees, from Robinson Cano to Gary Sanchez, he now speaks of indefensibly minimal play. However, the one thing he hasn't said, and likely can be spoken in hints. The Yankees, no matter their WL record, play herringbone baseball. The least one can do is good enough. Imagine if Yankees, the new and returnees, showed up every season knowing that Bone doesn't suffer the inexcusable. Perhaps, 5 seasons into Bone's stewardship, it's time Yes Meredith Marikovitz, in one of her cozy and As with Bone, asks why. Rutgers radio football voice Chris Carlin, Saturday on WFAN against Boston College, took time off from his annually over-the-top, amateurish Go Are You hysteria to read a promo for the official steakhouse of Rutgers football, given that RU football players were recently revealed to have spent $450,000 over 14 months in school and taxpayer-funded food deliveries despite a $73 million athletic department deficit. I figured the official steakhouse was DoorDash. This just in, reader/political correspondent Brian Traynor reports that in conjunction with the start of the NFL season, President Biden will forgive all PSL debts. Jonathan Loaisiga, Corey Sipkin live and learn. This week in Yes Graphics, we read that Yankees pitchers, including Jonathan Loaisiga, throw sinkers anywhere from 97 to 100 miles per hour. Considering that a sinker was a form of breaking pitch, I wasn't aware one could throw 100 miles per hour. At the start of Arizona-San Diego State, CBS did not duck the continuing investigation of 3 SDSU football players accused of the gang rape of a 17-year-old. CBS provided a solid, judicious account. One of the accused is punt god Matt Araiza, recently cut by the Bills after the heat on him and them grew. At the top of Saturday's Oregon-Georgia's telecast, ABC/ESPN's Sean McDonough seemed oddly enthused to report that Oregon's new coach, Dan Lanning, brought in 21 transfers. Given the current NCAA Division I scene, did he mean transfers or free agents? Losers NFL survivor pools should be starting soon. Never saw more opening day home underdogs. Makes for slim week 1 pickings. As witnessed Saturday on ESPN's ACC network, Syracuse wide receiver Devon Cooper, a 2016 high school grad from Los Angeles previously enrolled at Arizona and University of Texas El Paso, is a 7th-year senior. Must finally been attracted to Syracuse by the climate. Reader Dave Lee, as per my recent lament on mother-discarded baseball cards and the sale of a Mickey Mantle rookie card for a reported $12.6 million, recalled that his mom donated everything to Catholic charities. Thus, Lee suspects, somewhere in the Andes Mountains of Peru stands a shrine to Clete Boyer.